What if the very thing meant to secure your future was suddenly at risk? What if the promise of stability, something retirees have counted on for years, was about to change? Could this decision impact your retirement, your savings, or even your way of life? David here, and today, we're diving into a major shakeup that could redefine pensions on the Isle of Man. Imagine working hard your whole life, expecting a pension system to protect you, only to hear that a key safeguard might be scrapped. Why is this happening? Who does it affect? And most importantly, what does it mean for you? Officials say this change is necessary to protect future funds, but critics argue it could be deeply unfair to certain retirees. So, what's really going on? Is this a necessary adjustment, or are pensioners being left behind? This isn't just another policy tweak, this is about real people, real retirements, and real futures. So before you assume everything is secure, let's take a closer look at the facts. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could change the way you see your pension forever. And before we dive in, tap that like button and subscribe to stay updated on news that matters to you. Now, let's get into it. For years, retirees on the Isle of Man have relied on the triple lock system to ensure their pensions keep up with inflation, earnings growth, or a minimum increase of 2.5%, whichever is higher. But now, that very system is on the chopping block, and many are wondering, why is this happening? Who stands to lose the most? And is there a hidden agenda behind this move? At the heart of this debate lies the National Insurance Fund, which, according to recent reports, is set to run out by 2047. That might sound far away, but governments don't make changes overnight. This is a long-term concern, and they are looking for ways to make sure the system remains sustainable. However, the proposed shift from a triple lock to a double lock guarantee has sparked serious concerns, and not everyone is convinced it's the right solution. Treasury Minister Alex Alinson initially planned to roll these changes into the upcoming 2025-26 budget, but the move faced immediate pushback. Lawmakers argued that such a crucial issue deserves a separate and thorough debate, rather than being tucked away in financial plans. And now, with the debate officially separated from the budget, it's clear that this isn't going away anytime soon. So what exactly is the double lock that's being proposed? Under this new system, pensions would only rise by either inflation or a minimum of 2%, whichever is higher. While this might still seem like a fair deal, it removes the additional safeguard that ties pension increases to average wage growth. That's a major shift because, historically, wages have often risen faster than inflation, meaning pensioners could lose out on bigger increases over time. But here's where things get even more complicated. The policy wouldn't affect all pensioners, only those who retire after April 5, 2025. That means two people, one retiring in March 2025 and another in May 2025, could be receiving very different pension increases, simply because of timing. And that's precisely why many critics are calling this policy unfair and divisive. Onchan MHK Julie Edge was among those who voiced strong opposition, saying this move could leave Manx-born retirees worse off than UK pensioners living on the Isle of Man. If the UK keeps its triple lock system intact while the Isle of Man removes it, that could create an imbalance, where some retirees have their pensions increasing at a faster rate simply because of where they originally worked. And that's not the only concern. Some lawmakers believe the Treasury's approach to this issue shows a lack of transparency. Glenn Farber and Peel MHK Kate Lord Brennan was particularly vocal about the odd timing of this proposal, questioning why such a significant policy change was being bundled into the annual budget discussion instead of being treated as a standalone issue. She went as far as to call it a flagrant disregard for Tynwald and the people of the Isle of Man. The big question many are asking is, why now? If the National Insurance Fund isn't expected to run out until 2047, why is the government rushing to change the system today? Some speculate that this could be a preemptive move to reduce financial liabilities, ensuring the government doesn't have to make even harsher cuts later down the line. Others argue that it's simply a way to quietly reduce pension growth without causing an immediate uproar. And then there's the matter of public consultation, or rather, the lack of it. Many politicians and citizens feel that they were blindsided by this proposal. Treasury Minister Alinson had previously committed to discussing any potential pension changes with both politicians and the public before implementing them, but critics say that hasn't happened. Instead, the announcement came just months before the changes were set to be voted on, leaving little room for meaningful debate. This isn't just a policy decision, it's a fundamental shift in how the Isle of Man treats its retirees. And while government officials insist this move is necessary for long-term sustainability, opponents argue that there are other ways to keep the system afloat without making pensioners pay the price. For example, some experts have suggested alternative funding mechanisms that could keep the triple lock system in place while ensuring the National Insurance Fund remains solvent. These include gradually increasing national insurance contributions, introducing means-tested pension adjustments, or even implementing a temporary pension freeze for higher earners to balance the scales. But so far, the Treasury hasn't seriously explored these options, at least, not publicly. Instead, the focus has remained on the double lock guarantee, with officials insisting it's the best way to ensure fairness while keeping the system financially stable. But is it really fair? Let's consider the real-world impact of this change. A retiree under the triple lock system could see their pension increase significantly over the years, especially if wage growth is strong. But under the double lock, that same pension might only increase at the rate of inflation or by 2%, whichever is higher. That might not seem like a drastic difference in the short term, but over 10 or 20 years, it could result in thousands of pounds in lost income. And for pensioners on fixed incomes, every pound counts. Rising costs of living, energy bills, and healthcare expenses mean that many retirees depend on consistent pension increases to maintain their quality of life. So how will they cope if their pensions don't keep up? The frustration among some lawmakers and the public is understandable. Why should future retirees get a worse deal than those who retired just a few months before them? This two-tier system is creating divisions among pensioners, with some feeling like they are being unfairly punished simply because of timing. There's also a broader question about trust in government policies. If the triple lock can be removed now, what's stopping future governments from making even more drastic changes down the line? Could we see further reductions, means testing, or even a shift toward privatized pension models in the future? As the debate unfolds, the pressure is mounting on the government to reconsider this move. While officials argue that the change is necessary to prevent the National Insurance Fund from running dry, critics insist that there are other ways to ensure sustainability without sacrificing fairness. For now, the discussion is far from over. The decision to separate this issue from the budget debate means that lawmakers will have more time to analyze the proposal, discuss alternatives, and, most importantly, listen to the voices of pensioners who will be directly affected. And that's where you come in. What do you think about these changes? Should the Isle of Man scrap the triple lock, or should they find another way to balance the books? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you found this information valuable, and subscribe to stay updated on this critical issue. Because one thing is certain, this debate isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet. It's about people, their futures, and the promises they were given. The fight over the triple lock isn't just about policy, it's about trust, fairness, and financial security for those who have worked their entire lives. With rising costs and economic uncertainty, many retirees feel this is the worst possible time for a policy shift that could leave them worse off in the long run. As the debate continues, the pressure on the government is growing. Will they listen to the concerns of pensioners and reconsider? Or will this change be pushed through despite widespread opposition? Only time will tell. One thing is certain, this isn't just a minor adjustment, it's a major shift in how pensions are handled on the Isle of Man. The outcome will affect thousands, and the decision made now could set a precedent for future pension policies. So what do you think? Is this a necessary move to protect funds, or a betrayal of trust? Drop a comment below, hit like if you found this valuable, and subscribe for more updates on the stories that matter to you.